Hi everybody, Nick Albright here, the humble realtor located in St. Louis, Missouri. So let's say the perfect home just came on the market. It's $200,000, it's been on for 1 hour, you call your agent, you guys are the first ones in, you see the place, all the comps are $215,000, you love it, you want to make an offer, and you want to know what would the seller accept as a fair price? That is a great question. The answer could be they won't come down at all. Could be that because it's before the weekend, they want over asking price to even consider it. Could be that they're really anxious to get out of the property and nervous about all the showings that are coming this weekend, so they're willing to take the first offer they get. As you can tell, the answer varies and for many reasons. So today I want to talk about a few of these situations, things that your agent is able to look up for you, and how it can help give you insight to make a competitive offer. In the previous situation, we said it's priced $15,000 lower than any other offer, it's pre-weekend, and it seems to be priced for multiple offers. Now at the end of the day, the most important thing is for my buyer to feel ecstatic about the home they're getting and the price they're paying for it. So in this type of situation, you have to ask yourself, are you willing to go over asking for a chance to get the seller to accept your offer before allowing the 20 other showings this weekend? Or are you only willing to pay the price it's listed for and take a chance that they tell you they're going to wait till the weekend? A $205,000 offer may actually save you money if you can get it signed before all those other offers come in. And that is completely up to the seller and no way to know ahead of time what they're going to choose. I would recommend that your buyer's agent call the listing agent, find out any information possible and any terms that may make your offer more enticing than any other offer. Now that super competitive situation is not always what happens. So let's say you see a home that's been sitting for 30 days. You decide you really love it, but you feel you can get it at a little bit of a discount. There's a lot of factors to consider when you make that first offer. Normally we say between 5 and 10% lower is not necessarily going to offend the seller. When you're dealing with a private individual, there's always a chance that you come in too low and they decide, 1, they don't want to work with you, or 2, they don't even want to counter. In that case, you kind of give all the power to the seller, because then it's up to you whether or not you want to submit another offer, start over from scratch, but the seller knows that you already came back twice without them countering at all. Now in that situation of a home sitting for 30 days, most likely your agent can find out the price that was paid when the home was bought and what the mortgage was. The reason it's important to find out how much is owed on a property is because then you can kind of calculate backwards as to what their bottom dollar may be. Now again, this is all speculative, but it's good to have as much information as possible when you're going into an offer. So let's say that property that's $200,000 has been sitting for 90 days. Your agent looks up that they originally bought it for $150,000 and they've owned it for about 5 years. In that 5 years, the principal will have been paid off some, but at least what's common in Missouri is the seller is responsible for paying all the realtor fees, typically around 6%. So that's $12,000 already that the seller is having to pay if they get $200,000. Then let's say you ask for 3% closing costs. That's another $6,000. Let's say you want to come in and you want to lowball these people and you want to get them as low as you possibly can. It's good to know that bottom dollar price because most sellers are not going to be willing to pay to sell their home. Let's say you come in, you don't feel the price is there, it's been sitting for a long time, and you only want to offer $150,000. Well, after the 6% realtor fees and 3% closing costs, that $150,000 offer is only a net offer of $136,500. You also risk offending the owner that even if they do agree to that $150,000 price and they're going to pay, the $13,500 in fees, when it comes to inspections and you find another big item that you need to negotiate, there's a chance they're really stubborn and they don't want to go any lower. Now when it's a bank or a foreclosure, I feel from experience it's a little different. They usually have a bottom dollar in mind and they're probably not going to take offense to your lowball offer, they just won't respond. Another thing with the bank or foreclosure is usually that property is as is, and banks and foreclosures will typically not negotiate after inspections, prices down, or fixes unless it's required for the sale of the property. So going into it, the net offer you finally agree upon will most likely be the final offer. I have had situations where I was able to get the price down even lower, but we had to walk away from the property, let it sit for a little bit longer, and come back. Now, an as-is property sold by a private owner is a whole different story. We often talk about it at Herman London, whether or not you can still negotiate after inspections, even though it says it's an as-is property. And the answer to that is yes. There's been multiple times in an as-is property after inspections we found a few items that were bigger than we thought it may cost, and we went back and told them and explained the situation, and were able to get them to come down. So I'm explaining all this to you guys today because it is important to educate yourself and know as much as possible when you're going into making an offer, but it is also very difficult to know what exactly that right price is. All you can do is try and look at the facts of the situation, follow your gut, and decide whether or not this is the property that you've been looking for and you're willing to do whatever it takes to get. If you're not willing to do whatever it takes to get, just be prepared that an offer may not be accepted and you may have to walk away. I've been surprised in many situations of what the seller was willing to take. I've seen sellers turn down 20 other showings that were coming later that evening to accept the first offer. And I've seen sellers deny an offer that's $5,000 over asking because it was the first one and they knew there were 20 showings coming. So come up with that number that you would be ecstatic if you get the property, and if it sells for $1,000 more, you'd be okay walking away. At the end of the day, you have to be happy with your decision. You don't want to be house poor. You want to be able to sit down in your new home and feel proud that you were able to buy it. If you have any questions about the market, feel free to reach out to me at any time. There's a lot of buyers right now, so if you're thinking about selling, let me know. I'll be happy to share your information, give you advice, and list your property. As always, thanks for watching, everybody. I'm always available, and have a good evening.